Welcome to MacGyver's Workshop, where you never know what we're going to be working on next. If you're not too careful, you just might learn something.
We were hoping for great things once we put the bypass relay in the ECU here. But of course, it can't possibly go that easy. So what we discovered that the pressure regulator was needing to be replaced, and we went ahead and ordered a new pressure regulator, and we put it in, and then we started observing that the pressure was bleeding down a little quicker than I would have liked. Maybe not technically terrible, but if all the injectors are closed and the pressure regulator is doing its job, with the key off and the pressure, held, it should stay, at least for a while anyway. So we dug a little deeper and we pulled the fuel rail out, and we're going to look at the individual injectors and come along and I'll show you what we found. Okay, so what I've got here is I've got the 4 injectors from the driver's side of the Caddy, and you can see that 2 of them are different. These are the newer style, and they must have been replaced at some point in the car's life. And then these are the original equipment injectors. These are the ones that the car came with back in 1976. Now, they obviously look a little different, and I had some concerns because the pintle on the original injectors are further down into the port, but I talked to some pretty well-respected folks online. One of them is Bruce Roe. I gotta throw this out there. He's like one of the consummate geniuses of the Cadillac fuel injection systems. And look him up if you're in the Cadillac Lasalle group and you're a Cadillac aficionado. That's a good group to be a member of. And anyhow, he said in his opinion that the newer injectors, the new style injectors, perform better. So what ultimately we're going to do is we're going to replace all the other injectors. There's 1 new one on the other side and 3 of the old style. So we're going to be buying 5 injectors here. I'll explain why here in a second. So I kind of threw together this little rig to be able to pressurize and test these injectors. I've been thinking about buying an inexpensive fuel injection test rig. I mean, you can get them off of Amazon for a couple $100, but never got around to it, never had a need for it, so couldn't justify spending the money. But as luck would have it, well, now I need one and don't have it. So I threw this together, and I'm using my fuel injection flush tool, and bought off the tool truck, $50 a week for 2-3 weeks, whatever, back in the day. It connects to your shop air and has a reservoir on it that you put your fuel injector cleaner solution in, and then your air will pressurize the container and provide the necessary pressure at whatever PSI you set it at to operate the injectors. And then I have a power supply off to the side here, a 12-volt power supply from my electronics bench that'll provide the 12 volts to fire these injectors, and I'm pulsing them with just a standard run-of-the-mill electronic turn signal flasher. So let's throw some pressure to these injectors and see what happens. First thing we want to do is we want to see if we leak out of the tips here with them all turned off. So I'm gradually bringing my pressure up. So I'm bringing it up to about 47, 48 PSI. And we'll let it sit there for a minute and see if we get any dribbles. That's actually pretty good. We're not seeing any leakage on those four. All right, let's throw some power to it. I personally think we should go ahead and put all new injectors in, aside from the 3 that had been replaced already. All right, so now we have put our new injectors in. We've got our new fuel pressure regulator, and we've already replaced the booster pump in the tank and the main fuel pump underneath the frame, and the fuel filter, of course, and flushed everything out. And what ended up being the source of our drivability problem, I don't think the booster pump in the tank was so much an issue, but we went ahead and changed it anyway. But it was a combination of the main fuel pump, because it had a leak, and the fuel filter, which was stopped up pretty good, and the fuel pressure regulator, and the 5 remaining original injectors that were still in the car were leaking, and they had a really poor spray pattern. Tried cleaning them, but it didn't help. So we just went ahead and we found some availability on 5 new injectors, so we just went ahead and bought them and put them in. So Mark, why don't you go ahead and fire it up here, and we'll see how she runs. So she lights right off, which is a good thing, which means we get our pressure built right to where it needs to be almost immediately. And if you look at the engine, I'll zoom in on the engine, but you'll see that it's not, doing this. Now it's running, just as smooth as can be, and throttle response is amazing for a 1976 car that was in the middle of the whole emissions era of like zero performance. So the throttle response is real snappy. It just spools right up, and for 500 cubic inch big block, that says something. So I would have liked to have probably gone a little deeper into all the bits and bobs of this project, but this is his only vehicle, so we kind of had to get it running. And we're working on a budget too, so we want to make sure that he spends his money where it's needed most. So, and right now, getting it running properly is the most important thing. And I'm sure there's a ton of other things he wants to do to the car, but that'll come with time. So, if there's any information I can share, I'm happy to share it with you. I've got the wiring diagram that I made for thanks to Bruce Roe to
kind of offload, switching that fuel pump outside of the ECU. That's a big one. And thankfully, like I said, this car didn't really need that yet. It hadn't gotten to that point where those connectors, melted and all like they usually do. So we were very fortunate, but we went ahead and did it anyway so that it doesn't happen later on down the road. So if you like what you see, please subscribe and feel free to comment. You can also reach out to me at MacGyversWorkshop@gmail.com, or you can check out the website www.MacGyversWorkshop.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.